Good morning, everybody, and this is your Dow Jones setup for today. So this is the only bit of structure that I actually think is valid. What we're seeing on the DAX and the S&P is no real structure, but the Dow has a fairly decent pin bar here. There wasn't a follow through on the very next bar, and we ended up with a bit of a range bar, which I don't quite like, but you can see we came straight back into the zone that we've been waiting for, and that's between 38,827 and 38,774. Now, for all intents and purposes, this flag is still intact. So, strong move up. This is a pullback. It's in a little bit of a channel. So, it is a flag in my eyes. This little squirt below is a fake out of the flag. So, and when you do get these fake outs, there's normally only a 30% probability that it is going to continue to the downside. There's a 70% probability that it's going to break the flag to the upside. So looking at my oscillators, they have eased off the top quite nicely. They've gently separated, which is quite nice, and one of them is already starting to turn. Now the Asian session is obviously driving this at the moment. I'm not going to read too much into it because we have a host of data this afternoon. And I'm based in South Africa, so from 3 p.m. my time, which is 2 hours ahead of GMT, that is when the data is going to hit us. So, and it includes German data, German CPI data, and then there's quite a host of data coming out of the US. And all of it is going to be watched very carefully because it's going to give some indications on what's happening in the economy. And then you also have a ceasefire been spoken about in Gaza. So let's see. There's so much noise going on at the moment, and if you look at, doesn't matter what you look at, Forex, I mean, Bitcoin had a really crazy day yesterday. I think it was up 10% and then down like 9 and then up another 5. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. So it's been well structured, and then it sort of got to lofty levels and then started getting very volatile. Forex as well is looking really weird, not really finding a direction. So we are waiting for something. Something is brewing. What that something is, I don't know. I think nobody really knows. So we just need to be cautious, I think is the right word. Anyway, looking at the 3 hour, you can see we've got a crossover of the moving averages here, but we do have a higher low. It's not a fractional higher low, so I'm not going to read much into it. This could be a little bit of a flag forming within the flag for another leg down. So I'd want to see a fractional double bottom or fractional higher low, and we don't see that at the moment. And also the other thing would be a fractional higher high. So that is going to be a break above 38,973. So basically we are sitting in a range. I don't want to be jumping in short right now. Definitely don't want to be jumping in long either. Not until we get confirmation. So let's just look at yesterday's price action quickly. Big move down, big engulfing bar into the moving averages, and then we just sideways in the moving averages. And it's kind of above and below the 150 EMA. So that is my trend indicator. So at the moment we are not trending, we are flat, we are ranging, and we're in this fairly decent flag setup, but we do need to break through the flag in order for us to even consider anything. And it does look like we're breaking at the moment, but I'm going to need a lot more than that to convince me. So yesterday was very, very, very difficult to trade, and I think you would have panicked a little bit seeing this nice juicy engulfing bar off structure, take a long up there, have a stop here. I would have got out. I wouldn't even waited for the stop. I would have just taken my loss in this area here. So if you just drop down to 15 minutes, you're going to see it even clearer. Big up, big down, big up, big down, big up, big down, big up, big down. Complete confusion. Now you do have gaps here as well. So you've got an opening gap, which is a bit of a concern, and then you do have a fairly large gap down the bottom here at 37.92. and that's this bar here. Remember, I don't see tails as closing the gap. My experience, that never indicates a closed gap, it indicates an open gap. So, what does it mean? I think we are waiting for data. There's a gap to the upside here. That's also a daily gap, and the gap to the downside could be an island reversal setup, but that would be to the upside. It's a very weak one, a very messy one. We do have a higher low on the 15 minutes, and I suppose it would be there on the hour as well, there and there, whereas we've been forming a series of lower lows, and that is, yeah, so two fractals as well, so that just makes it a little bit more concrete. I just don't trust what we're seeing right now. So typically what happens is if there's a big move about to happen, you get this confusion, but there's no real signal, and the weak hands, in other words, the people that are just blindly following the trend at the moment, are going to be targeted. So those that don't have stop losses, those at stop losses are very far away. And you can see a lot of this here would be stop losses that are very close as well. So the algorithms know where you are. They know what positions you have. They know where the bulk of the positions are. And because so many trading strategies are so similar, you find a lot of stop losses in the same area. You find a lot of entries in the same area. And that's why you see this kind of stuff. Because the algorithm is now, we're not going anywhere, so we need to make money in this area. So what we do is we start tracing those stop losses. We trace up, trigger stops, get some momentum to the downside. There'll be more stops or entries, take the stops, and so they keep doing this, and they'll do it in high frequency, so in like seconds or microseconds. So you really don't have a chance to compete when we're going sideways like this. Anyway, that's kind of my view at the moment, is sit on the sides, wait for the data later today. This is your line in the sand to the upside. That's 38,973. Yeah, if we do get a decent break above that this afternoon and it'll pull back onto here, that should be your trigger for a potential break of this flag. And then you're going to be targeting these previous highs as your first target. Move to the downside, I wouldn't trust it, to be honest. And the reason I say that, is just come back to the 3 hour, is just look at all the structure that you have potentially here. Actually, the 8 hour is going to be a better view. So look at this whole area here. I just draw a block here. That whole area is potential support. So, any move down here, the stronger trade is going to be to buy off any of these levels that are in here. And if I keep adding them, you're going to see how busy the chart's going to get. And we all know from experience that that is a very strong zone of support. And it's only when we start dropping below these weekly lows that we can start thinking about short opportunities. Okay, so for me, this is a sit on hands, wait for the data. You don't really want to get caught in this kind of price action. It's just going to frustrate you no end. And this is a megaphone that was forming going into the close. That's kind of my view. Hope it helps you somewhat, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.